Wolf of Fantasy Sports bringing you the DFS Wolfpack for the NBA opening day 2-game slate. I go by I Would Hate Me Too across the daily fantasy universe. Find me on DraftKings, FanDuel. If you want to join the DFS Wolfpack online community of DFS players around the world, drop your username in the YouTube comment section. I'll add you to the league. We run cash games, winner takes all, top 3, top 2, free games. This will allow you to get better as a DFS player. And it's all about bragging rights, having fun. Last season, my best NBA lineup was on December 3rd. It was NFL Sunday. I had my New Orleans Drew Brees lineups, and he was coming off of a week where he had 4 touchdowns, a rush for a touchdown, and he was playing Detroit. So I was going right back to the well. Had a lot of Drew Brees lineups. He ended up having one of his worst games of his career, and I was tilting NFL by like 2:30 p.m. Eastern time. And I just said, you know what? I'm going to focus on the NBA. My day's over in NFL. I'll probably get some money back with my Stafford lineups. And what I did here was I targeted my New York Knicks with Cousins and Rudy Gay. So the center position, small forward position versus the New York Knicks. This was my game theory. And I had Russell Westbrook, one of the best players in the NBA fantasy purposes last year. And then I just fit in the best value I could to make the lineup work. Now, Anthony Davis was on the slate, and I knew he was going to have a big day. I knew he was going to have a good game, and I had him in my other lineups. So I had guys with high upside, which was Ibaka and Cantor, and I was hoping that they would have really good games where they put up high points that could counter Anthony Davis. And that ended up working out. Ibaka had a really good game, put up 48, and Cantor put up 34. And then Oladipo, I paired him up with Westbrook and Cantor. And then I had Justin Holiday, who's getting the start for Courtney Lee. And then DJ Augustine. He was getting a lot of the minutes at point guard for Orlando at the time before Elf really started taking off. And then I faded the late game, which was the Pacers versus the Clippers, because I didn't really like the game all that much. I thought it'd be a blowout. Clippers would win. So what happened here was I went into the late game with no players left, and I'm in first place. So you're thinking, you're not going to win. Somebody's going to pass you. I'm probably going to cash pretty good tonight. And what happened here was I was worried about the shooting guards. So Rodney Stuckey from the Pacers, J.J. Redick, and Crawford. Those were the guys that could pass me. They ended up all having mediocre games. Stuckey got hot. Got the Pacers caught up at half because they were kind of leaning towards getting blown out. And then Stuckey went off, player off the bench. And then he played a little bit of the third quarter and in the fourth quarter, and they took him out. I didn't have to worry about him anymore, so I was good there. Redick got into foul trouble, and then Jamal Crawford came real close. People that had him in their lineups were right behind me, and he ended up missing a three-pointer and causing a turnover. So, I just got by. I got first place by 0.4 of a point, and I hung on, and it was the craziest 3-hour sweat. So that was my best lineup last year. I had a bunch of other lineups that did really well. I got 18th place in one of the main tournaments, which 100 grand was first place, and I was 7 points back from 100 grand. Clarkson and Ingram versus Golden State. They missed a ton of shots in the fourth quarter, man. I had a really good clear-cut shot at it, and it didn't work out. But I've had a lot of success in NBA. It's one of my best sports. And we're going to look at this 2-game slate. And I'm going to give you my best advice and my game theory behind these 2 games. So Boston, Cleveland, 8 p.m. You're going to look at Curry at home versus Houston. I like that play a lot. So the decision here is, am I going to play Curry or am I going to play Irving? And then you have Irving at 8,300 with his new team in Boston, but they're playing on the road versus Cleveland. So you have to decide which 2 players you want to play, because you're probably not going to be able to play Curry and Irving. So, for me, it'd probably be Irving, especially if LeBron James doesn't play. We'll get into that. We're going to have to look and see what's going on there as far as his injury or if he's questionable, game time decision. But most likely it's going to be Irving here. I'm going to have a few lineups. One will probably be with Irving, one will be with Curry. And on a 2-game slate, you're going to have to get weird. In order to win this, you're going to have a bench player or a combination of players that comes in low owned that just takes you to the top. And if you have a bench player that puts up 40, like a PJ Tucker, or just, just somebody different, that nobody's really on, that's going to come in less than 5 or 8 or 9% owned, that's going to put you over the top. So looking at the point guards here, Curry, Irving, got to make a decision. Chris Paul, I'm off here. I want to see how that plays out before I start rostering him. His defense isn't as good as it used to be. And going up against Golden State, we just don't know what to expect out of him, his new role with Harden. So I really don't like Chris Paul that much, especially for that price. I'd rather find the money for Irving or Curry. Isaiah Thomas is out, which is going to leave you with Dwayne Wade and Derrick Rose handling the ball. Like Derrick Rose and Wade here at 5,200 and 5,000. I'm not worried about Kyrie Irving's defense. So Wade and Rose are two players I'll have a lot of. You got to look at Marcus Smart. Now he could be the player that could be the difference maker. He could play 30 minutes and put up like 40 DraftKings points, and he's going to come in probably less than 15%, 10% owned. He could be the difference maker from you cash in $40 or cash in a few thousand. So you're going to have to look at Smart. Going down here, I'm really not going any further. It's going to stop right here at Rose, Wade, Smart. Those are the plays I'm looking at. If you want to get weird, Terry Rozier, yeah, that's pretty much it for me. But I think I'm going to have a lot of exposure to Wade and Rose. And then if I make mass multi-entry lineups, MME, I'm going to have exposure to Smart. I'm going to have exposure to all these guys. So Curry, Irving, Wade, Rose, and Smart. Those are the guys I'm looking at here. I'm going to leave out Chris Paul. Maybe I'll have him in one lineup just to have exposure. But that's pretty much it. Shooting guard position. Looking at Harden, Klay Thompson, Wade. So you could play him at the point guard or the shooting guard. Same with Smart. You got Eric Gordon, Jaylen Brown, Andre Iguodala. You're going to have to check the status of him. I think he practiced yesterday. J.R. Smith, 3,400. So these are guys that can come off the bench and put up 20, 25 points. And if you're fitting in a bunch of studs, depending on your lineup build, he might be the difference maker. J.R. Smith might allow you to get, 4 or 5 really good players, and then he could put up that 25. That's the difference maker for you. So it's all about lineup construction here, game theory, and what you see that's going to happen. I like James Harden versus Golden State on the road. We're going to see how that plays out. Klay Thompson, 6,200. If he's looking at Harden defense, yeah, you got to love him, because you got to think Chris Paul is going to guard Curry and try to limit him, and then Klay Thompson has Harden defense, and he always does well in the history versus Houston. He always has that Harden defense, and he takes advantage of it. Love Dwayne Wade, one of my favorite plays, especially if LeBron does not play. I'm just probably going to have 100% Wade tomorrow. We'll see what happens. Eric Gordon in play. Jaylen Brown, I'll be low on. And then J.R. Smith, he was upset that he's not getting the starting position, and Wade's going to get that, which is just foolish, because J.R. Smith is lucky to even be starting for this team. So I think, these are the players you need to look at. Keep an eye on Iggy, 3,600. One of these guys, low owned here, Iggy, J.R. Smith, that's going to take you to the top of these charts, in tournaments. And in cash game plays, this is like a cash game slate because it's 2 games. But in GPPs, you're going to have to get weird to win if you're going to want to cash in the top 10%. So you're looking at LeBron James, questionable. If he plays, yeah, it's LeBron James. And he's going to want to sun Curry or Irving a little bit here, because he left the team and whatnot. So this is a really good game to target. It's Boston and Cleveland. By far, I'll have the most exposure to this game. Looking at Durant, definitely in play, 9,600. Hayward, not one of my favorite players to play in fantasy. He tends to disappear on the court at times, but he's with Boston. He's in a new environment, and they're going to want to come to play here versus Cleveland. And if LeBron's not playing, I will have a lot of exposure to Hayward. So looking at Ariza in play, Crowder should be getting the start. They should be bumping down Love to the center spot. So Crowder starts, yeah. One of my favorite role player guys to just throw in there, 4,300. Really cheap. If he gets hot from the 3-point line, yeah. And if LeBron doesn't play, even better. Tatum, real risky. If it's a blowout and Cleveland's up by a lot, Tatum can come in there and just smash. Jaylen Brown, hit or miss. Iggy in play. PJ Tucker for Houston, he'll be in play, 3,500. Now these are the players that are going to be mixed in the lineups here. that I think are going to carry people's teams to the top, especially if they go off. If you see 40 points from PJ Tucker and he comes in 7% owned, and that whoever has him with the right combination is going to be winning first place. So J.R. Smith, Korver, I'm off, and that's pretty much that for small forward. Looking at power forward, you got LeBron, Durant, Kevin Love, Draymond, of course, Reza, Crowder, kind of off of Anderson because it's on the road. If it was at home, well, no, you know what? No, on the road he tends to play better. So I don't know. Anderson, I'll have limited exposure to him, but he could get hot here, and I just don't see it with the new addition. I got to see how it plays out with that team. Tatum, Tucker, looking at, that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's pretty much it for me. Center position, Kevin Love, Draymond Green, Al Horford, Capella. Tristan Thompson will be coming off the bench at 3,900. We got to see how that works. But he could be explosive here versus Boston because of the rebounding, the block shots. Block shots on FanDuel are worth 3 points now. So if you're playing over there, maybe he's the play. Coming low owned. Depends on the minutes he gets. He was never really that productive as a starter, so I doubt coming off the bench he'll be better, you know. And then Hilario, we're going to have to see. It's going to be a high-paced game. They'll be down. I don't know. Pachulia versus Houston. Capella, maybe. 3,400. Take a flyer on him. And McGee, I don't really love it. No. So, it's pretty much it. Just a real basic slate. You're just going to have to get weird to win. And you're going to have to try different combinations. And if you're entering 40 lineups, I mean, that's the way to play these slates. Because there's really, you know, there's not going to take a lot to get different from others. I think you're probably most likely going to see a big tie for first place on the slate. And I just don't love it. I'm going to play it because I'm a degenerate. And I'll try to do my best and just make it different combinations. And hopefully having a few players that just come in low owned. And that'll take me to the top of the lineups on tournaments. So, you know, it's a cash game type of play for me if you play cash games. For GPPs, who knows what's going to happen. You know, if you miss out on one player, like Gordon Hayward puts up 45 and you faded him, you won't cash in GPPs or 50. You know, if he puts up a big score and you faded him, it's going to be tough to cash. So be careful with GPPs. Cash games are all right. And good luck on the slate. And we'll look at Wednesday. And that's where you're going to want to put in some money and get in on the action. So good luck. To join the DFS Wolfpack, drop your username in the YouTube comments section and hit me up. DFS Wolfpack on Instagram, DFS Wolfpack on Twitter, and I'll hit you back. Good luck, guys.